Alec Hogg, my colleague here at CNBC Africa, recently spoke to Ian Ayre, who is the chief executive of the world's biggest football club, Liverpool. You can tell I don't know soccer because I didn't pronounce his surname properly, but he spoke to him about the turnaround story at the firm as well as its business strategy. Let's take a look.
Yeah, very much so. You know, we took new ownership back there, and you know, a big part of our strategy was to grow the business, because it's fundamental to underpinning, you know, what you want to achieve on the football pitch is having a sustainable business that supports that. And you know, we have a great brand, a great football club that has great history, and we've been able to build on that. And you know, our owners were very clear when they went in that they wanted to see the business be sustainable, which is actually necessary now under financial fair play rules and other elements. So building all of the infrastructure that supports and grows the business was vital.
So you've got certain restrictions. You can't just go out there and spend the next 10 years' revenues. You have to work within certain parameters.
Yeah, I mean, in its simplest sense, it's really, you know, spend what you earn and live by your means, you know, rather than, you know, sort of over-investing, and which was a problem in the past. And I think it's good for the long-term interests of all football clubs and football generally that that's the case, because it means, you know, if you generate a great business, generate great revenue, you can invest that into the team, and it creates a more balanced approach, I think, for everyone, a sort of level playing field, which is the ultimate objective for UEFA when they brought those rules.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned UEFA, the Champions League, the European Champions League. How important is that in the revenue generation of a club?
Very much so. You know, we obviously, as a club like Liverpool, we're always aiming to try and compete in that competition, because you know, the Premier League is obviously first and foremost for us, and from a revenue perspective, but playing at the highest level in Europe is, you know, essential to the long term. You can afford to not be in it for a year or two or three, but you can't be out of that competition for the long term and be sustainable. So we're always pushing to be part of that, whether it's the Champions League or the Europa League, which we'll play in this season.
It's an extraordinary brand. I was looking at the social media numbers last night. 26 million Facebook likes, nearly 5 million followers on Twitter. But I guess if you look at all your social media channels, it's even bigger than that.
Yeah, we generally will have around about 40 million people interacting very regularly on our sort of widespread of social media platforms. So as well as the big obvious platforms like Facebook and Twitter, we have around 49 social media channels in different countries, different languages. I think somewhere around 16 different languages currently, and that's about trying to find Liverpool fans or you know, interact with Liverpool fans where they are every day, not just around match day, but around, you know, what's an Indonesian Liverpool fan doing on a particular day in his particular market, in his particular language. And that's been really, you know, really good for us. It's given us a much greater touch point with all of our fans. And just using Indonesia as an example, we have more followers online in Indonesia than we have in the UK.
It was also interesting to see in the most recent numbers that were disclosed in the Deloitte Money League that you generate more money out of your commercial activities than from your broadcasting rights, and both of those are double what you get at the gate on match days. Do you sell into that social media channel?
We do sell in. We sell in through our online business, and obviously there's a sort of correlation. The more people you bring to the media channels, the greater the level of conversion commercially is. So that's an important part of getting the right structure. But it's also, you know, social media and digital media in general is one of the greatest tools you can have to reach fans in South Africa, Asia, the US, you know, because you can really sort of have a regular dialogue, which is difficult for people who might never get to come to our home at Anfield. But we can have a genuine relationship with them, and obviously that also translates into transactional opportunities.
You mentioned South Africa. You've got a South African, very close South African relationship now with Discovery, Vitality, which is growing in the UK. How does that partnership work?
Well, it's like a lot of our partnerships. It's fundamental to, in any partnership, you know, we had a strategy when we started to build and continue to build our commercial operation that any partnership has to genuinely be a win-win, has to work for both sides. And I think it also has to be, you know, a brand and an organisation that shares similar values. You know, obviously we're in the sports industry, and you know, we're talking about healthy living and lifestyle, and also in markets that are key similar markets. So almost all of our major partners, such as Vitality, have similar objectives in similar markets. So when you work together, you can achieve so much more. And You know, they're in great markets that we're in. They have a very close relationship with us. We utilize each other's brands and assets across, you know, our business and their business. And, you know, talking to them all here in particular, they seem very pleased with the relationship, and I know that we are.
That was Ian Ayre, the Chief Executive of Liverpool Football Club.